friends. Thanks for joining me on your mats today. And I'm Joy. This is Hatha Flow All Levels. And we're going to focus on hips today. So I hope you enjoy the nicest stretch and just creating a little bit more freedom in your body. All right, so we're gonna get started today on our backs. So if you have blocks at home, feel free to always have them handy, or also a blanket can be helpful. So as you come to your backs, just take a moment here to place your feet on the floor and slowly rock your knees from side to side. No need to change anything. Stay with your natural breath for now, just observing. And then as you come back to center, hug your knees in, and you're gonna plant your hands on your knees and start to draw circles here. You're gonna bring your knees in opposite direction, right? So they touch towards the center, and then you open them nice and wide. Now start to deepen the breath, breathing in and out through the nose and reverse. Last one. Now extend your left leg on the floor, or if this becomes too intense, you can always bend your knee, resting your foot on the floor. Now hug the right knee in towards your armpit, creating a little compression here into the hip joint, just lubricating. One more time, hug in a little deeper. Now slowly guide your right knee towards the left side. So we're gonna add a little stretch here. Try to stay relaxed into your upper body. And then just focus on your breath. Come back to center. Now take a half happy baby here on this right side. Again, you do have the option to extend your legs for a little bit more, or if you need less today, bend your left knee. Be mindful here that you're not rocking, rolling towards your right side. Lots of energy through the toes. So as you draw your knee in towards the floor a little bit more, press your foot up towards the ceiling. Now stack your right ankle on top of your left leg. You can either grab the back of the leg or over the shin. See what feels good. I'm using my forearm here to take my leg away from me, so that right knee comes away from my face. Breathing. Maybe feels good to rock a little bit from side to side. And then release. Hug both knees in. And release your right leg on the floor. Hug your left knee in. Stay with your breath. One more time, yogis. Now come back to center. We're gonna take the supine twist first. So guide your knee towards the right as you gaze towards the left. Just try to soften. No need to force anything here. We're slowly opening the body. Final one. And back to center. From here, we're gonna take the half happy baby. Always modify as needed, right? You may need a different variation on the right side versus the left side. So that's why it's important to be present, to observe, to listen to what your body's telling you. Another mindful breath here. And then stack your left ankle on top of your right leg. Again, you can grab over the shin, behind the leg. My left side is way tighter than my right side, so I always have to modify and make accessible. Make sure those shoulder blades are still resting on the floor here. Your neck is nice and long. There's no tension in your jaw. And that you're simply breathing. And then release, take a full happy baby. Remember, we're in the beginning of the class here, so it's totally fine to take your hands probably to your shins or your ankles, depending, again, how your hips are feeling today. If they're cranky, they're tight, then do a little bit less. Give yourself time to start to loosen things up here. And then bring the soles of your feet to touch and use your forearms and elbows actively here to press your knees away from you. So think of a butterfly, but you're reclined. And slowly release. Plant your feet, rock again from side to side. And then come to a seated position. We're going to do a little warm-up seated today. I'm in this very mellow mood, just, working with my breath and really focusing on creating a space today. I've been feeling very tight. I do different workouts, right? So feeling sore and it feels good, but it's also always about balance, so if you tend to lift weights or if you're a runner, remember that stretching is just as important. So sit nice and tall here, and you're gonna inhale, lift your gaze, squeeze your shoulder blades behind your back, exhale round, tuck your chin. Inhale, you can go a little deeper here. Exhale, round your spine, maybe roll towards your tailbone a little bit, and think of a wave. Inhale. Exhale. And you can move as fast or slow. Find your pace. Let your breath set the rhythm. and then release here. So now, as you come back to center, now we're gonna draw little circles, and we're gonna, really wake up the digestive system here. Take a breath in. As you exhale, you're gonna bring the right shoulder down, center, into the other side, roll. How's your breath? 2 more. Last one on this direction, and we're gonna reverse. Go into the other side. Two more. And back to center. Take a big breath in, sweep your arms out and up, and exhale, fold, friends. You may even use blocks under your forehead. Just really breathe into your hips here. Breathe into the outer hips, the low back. And then slowly walk the hands back, plant your feet, windshield wipe your legs. And then we're gonna find our downward dog. So taking a moment here to paddle the feet. If you want, you can even sway the hips from side to side. Find stillness whenever you feel ready. And then step your right foot outside your right hand. We're gonna come into a lizard right away. So today's hip day, right? Be mindful here, for those of you especially that are very flexible in your hips, that you're not just collapsing here. Lift your hips slightly and really activate through your right foot. If you wish to go down to your forearms, you can do that. Breathe in and breathe out. One more time. Inhale. Stay for the exhale. Walk your foot towards the midline. Just pull your hips back. Here, let's take a little runner's stretch. Ardha Hanumanasana. Again, if you need more space, use your props. Be kind to yourself, be kind to your body. Give yourself some grace. I'm a firm believer that less is more. Alright, you're gonna inhale, rebend your knee. Curl the back toes under, tone that belly. Step back into your plank. Inhale at the top of your push-up. Exhale, lower down. Take your back bend, your cobra or upward dog. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Step your left foot outside your left leg. Bring the knee to the ground. I'm gonna do a little bit more of a passive lizard here. So again, you can really focus on your breath, on your alignment, which gives you stability. Coming down to the forearms is always an option. Not necessary though. One more time, breathe in, create a little bit more space as you inhale. Soften even more as you exhale. And then take that foot towards the midline. Just shift your hips back. Oh yeah, I'm sore. My abs and my hamstrings are killing me today. Just one more. Breathe through sensations, even if they cause discomfort. All right, inhale, rebend your knee. Step back plank. Remember, your knees can always come down to the floor first. Choose a back bend that serves you. Open that front body. And find downward dog. We're going to revisit the lizard. Optional, friends, if you want to keep your knee back off the ground, that back knee lifted, that's totally fine. It's going to be a little bit more active. Maybe if you didn't come down to your forearms the first time, you do so this time around. Continue to plug your right hip back, left hip forward. So if that back leg is not touching the floor, you're lifting your knee, right? Make sure you're not bending your knee and sinking here. Tone that leg, press that heel back, and lengthen your spine. If you're down on your forearms, slowly come back up. Now take your knee to the floor. You're gonna add a little quad stretch here. So option to turn your knees slightly out, bend that back knee, grab a hold of your foot or your ankle. You may even grab a strap or a towel. Get creative. Lean back. Slowly release. Take that foot back towards the midline. You're going to revisit that runner stretch. It may feel a little different or a lot different already. So the more you become familiar with the shape, right, the more you can actually just be present and feel the pose. You can relax a bit more and not be so much in your head. That's why we work with repetitions. Inhale, rebend your knee. Move like you. If you want to flow, flow. If you want to skip, give yourself permission. Take that back bend if you want. Make sure you wake up your legs and that you breathe, that you're not rushing. Step your left foot outside your left hand. Again, going back to lizard pose here. Whether you are on your hands or you want to come down to your forearms. Remember, you can always adjust the height of your blocks. 2 more breaths. Take your knee gently to the floor. If you're down, your forearms straighten. And then we're gonna go into that quad stretch. So first things first, make sure that shoulder is not coming up towards your ear. Wrap your shoulder back and down. And then reach for your back foot here. One more. Mindfully release. Walk your foot towards the center and take your hips back. Listen to your inhales and exhales. Breathe into that low back. Final one. And rebend your knee. This time you're gonna step your right foot outside your right hand, coming to your malasana, your yogi squat option to place a block here under the sits bones and give yourself a little bit more support. We're gonna be revisiting this pose, so don't worry about it. Lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders, breathe into the groins, the legs, the sacrum. Allow the hips here to relax. Let's add a little twist, so raise your right arm to the sky. And back to center. Switch. Inhale. Exhale. Fold. Bend your knees deeply, roll your spine to stand. Inhale, circle the arms. Hands to the heart. All right, so now turn to the long side of your mat, whatever side you want. We're gonna take the hands to the hips, take an inhale, and then exhale, hinge at the hips. Find a long spine here, and release your hands to the floor. Maybe come down to your forearms or take a little block here under the crown of the head. Inhale, halfway lift, friends. Walk your hands towards your right foot. Take your left knee to the ground. Now you're gonna pivot that left foot. Walk your hands towards the top left corner of your mat. Getting a little more into the hip here. So make sure your right knee is over your ankle and that knee is coming away from your armpit, and like your left knee stays in line under your left hip. One more time. Walk your hands towards the top of your mat. Take a side stretch here. Maybe your hand come behind your head, or you reach the arm up, peel your chest open. Take your right hand to the floor. Reach the left foot up. Find your downward dog. Feel free to flow. Breathe in and breathe out. Step your left foot outside your left hand. Pivot your right foot. Take that down dog lunge. Allow your chest to melt towards the floor. So think of your downward dog arms, right? Nice and active as you extend your arms. Let the spine get long. Walk your hand towards the back. Find this side stretch here. So again, you can reach your arm over or bring your hand behind your head. One more breath. Lean back a little more. And then take the left hand to the floor. Press back to three-legged dog. Take your right foot down. Feel free to take your flow or just stay in downward dog. Step your right foot outside your right hand, your left foot outside your left hand. We're going to go back to the Malasana. So if you're using your blocks, remember you can start on the highest setting, then to the mid setting, and then to the lowest. So maybe see if you were using the first time around that you can bring your block a little bit lower. Keep lifting that sternum. We're going to twist once again. So now take your left hand out to the side. Keep your arm in front of your shin. Option to turn that right palm back and take a bind. Slowly release back to center and switch. Inhale, reach your left arm high. Maybe you bind, maybe you don't. And come back to center. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Breathe here. Roll the spine to stand. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart. All right. Gonna get a little bit more into those hips here. I'm gonna turn to face you. You can stay where you are. Just bring your feet a little bit wider than the hips. So think of a chair pose that you're gonna sit nice and low, but your feet can be as wide as your sticky mat. So sit nice and low. So you have room here for your torso between your legs. Make sure your toes are pointing you straight forward, right? So sideways basically looks like this, like a squat, right? And you can reach your arms in front of you. You can cactus. Feel a nice stretch in that low back. And slowly straighten the legs. Bring your feet to about hip height, hip width. Relax. You're gonna inhale and rise. So bend your knees a little bit and then take that right knee with you. Let's twist first. So twist to your right. back to center, cross your ankle. Let's go into figure 4. If your balance is not there today, you always have, the option to use a chair, the wall, or a block. Or maybe you just don't want to worry so much about balancing, right? And you want to focus on sensations, what's happening in the body. Keep flexing your toes. As you come all the way up, just wrap the right leg over, right? So we're gonna go on an angle here. So the outer edges of your feet are parallel to each other, or roughly. Take an inhale, and then exhale. Hinge at the hips and fold. Hands to your hips. Inhale with the flat back. Come all the way up. And then just release. Sway a little bit from side to side. All right, we're gonna do the same thing once again. So find that bear pose for me. Open your feet nice and wide. Sit nice and low. Reach your arms. And release. Soften the knees. Let your torso drape over the legs. Take 3 breaths. One more time. And then walk your feet about hip width. Bend your knees a little bit. Inhale, rise. Draw your left knee with you this time. We're going to twist to the left. Stand nice and tall. Back to center. Cross your left ankle on top of your right leg. Whenever you're ready, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, hinge at the hips. So think of sitting in that imaginary chair, getting the hips nice and low here. Open that left knee wide. Flex your toes. One more time, friends. And slowly release. Shake it out. Shake it out the legs. All right. We're going to move through one last flow here, and we're going to do a few more hip stretches low to the ground. So take an inhale, and then exhale, fold. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, plant your hands. You can step or jump, flow or not. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, release. Find child's pose, but for this one, I want y'all to open your knees extra wide. think of your knees outside your sticky mat. And then sit back. So you're already gonna feel here a little stretch into the inner legs here, right? The inner thighs and also the groin probably. And then walk your hands here towards you. Now, you may need to use a blanket or a towel, so whatever, or turn sideways so you're facing the long side of your mat. But essentially what we're gonna do here, we're gonna go into frog pose, and we're gonna do a few variations. First, we're gonna go into half frog, and then we're gonna do a full frog. And I'll show you guys. So first one, the half frog. Move back here a little bit. You're gonna extend your right leg out to the side. Make sure your ankle is in line with your knee. Walk the left knee, flex your toes out, and just sit back here. So you press your hips slightly back. Try to release any tension from your fingers, your hands, arms, shoulders, your jaw. And then slowly release. So again, you open that knee a little bit wider, and then you can extend your left leg now. And press those hips slightly back. Then slowly release. Now we're gonna keep both knees bent. So think of a tabletop, but open your knees as wide as they go. Turn your toes out. So think about keeping your ankles in line with your knees, and then sit back. So you're depending, of course, on your flexibility. Some of you, your knees are gonna go nice and wide. Some of you will be like me. Try to relax. Allow a stretch to happen. And then slowly get out of the pose, whatever way that makes sense to you. We're going to rock the legs a little bit when you wipe the legs. And we're gonna go into Agni Stambhasana, fire log pose. I like to do this sitting on a blanket or a towel. And you can play with the height, so you can roll, you can fold. Again, there's no right or wrong, it's really just to support you. So I sit on the edge of my blanket, sit tall. And then We're gonna start with that left shin at the bottom, right? So bring your shin forward so your ankle is in line with your knee, okay? Now you're gonna stack your right shin on top. So parallel, right? If you can, your foot comes all the way on top of like the leg, right above the knee. Otherwise, you can slide your foot more into the shin, or you can even cross the legs. I have, very tight hips, so this big gap here, it just means I'm tight. You can place a little block in between. So maybe this is where you stay, right, for a few breaths. For those of you that are, again, very flexible, you can start to bring the hands to the floor and fold. Some of you guys will be already, okay, this is good, this is enough. So focus on the breath. Observing where you could perhaps use a little bit more space and relax a little bit more. And then slowly release if you feel ready. Let go. Maybe invite a little bit of movement. And then we're going to switch sides. So now your right shin will be at the bottom, stacking your left shin. And you may notice a difference, right? It may be very different, or maybe subtle. So again, for less sensation, you take that foot more towards on top of the shin. Try to relax. Even if your mind is telling you to run away, to escape the pose, your job here is to breathe, to come back to the present moment, to stay present to sensations. A couple more mindful with slow, rich inhales and exhales. And release. Shake it out if you need. Definitely felt this one. All right, friends, we're gonna find butterfly pose. So remember, we did this on our backs today. I'm gonna do the same thing seated now. So sit nice and tall, take a breath in, and exhale, start to hinge at the hips as you fold. So if you want to be a little bit more active, you can use your forearms here to press those legs down, right? Or you can even round your spine and just chill here. Or you can be right in the middle. Try to stay active through the feet. Two more breaths. And walk your hands back, sit tall. Now just cross your legs here for a brief moment. We're going to take one final seated twist here. So bring the shoulders over the hips. Inhale, sweep your arms. Exhale, twist to your right. Keeping both shoulders down. Come back to center, breathe in. And breathe out, switch. Release, inhale, reach your arms out and up, palms touch, draw the hands to the heart center. Taking a moment to express honest gratitude towards yourself, towards your body, for making the time for self-care. Enjoy your time in Shavasana. Spend at least a couple minutes there, always giving yourself permission to receive. May you have peace, may you be happy, may you be free. Namaste.